Here's a meta thing I can do where I watch the video of section drawings that are way easy. Okay, I just want to give you a speed through of like all the things that I'm going to go through because this video is like 50 minutes long or something, and you know, who knows, you might only find 5 minutes of it useful. So let me go through what I'm doing in this video that, you know, okay. So I'm taking stuff from CAD Mapper and I've just got Goodyear Hall here, and I did do outlines instead of the center lines of the roads, but I didn't even end up using them anyway. Downloaded that, brought it into Rhino, and took a screenshot of from Google, and then I spend like a couple minutes doing something that you'll maybe in the future it won't be as common, but you'll do this a lot of just like scaling an image to another image, or scaling one thing to another thing and trying to just line it up by eye. So I'm like lining up the sidewalks there and just like zooming in and out and rotating it a little bit and stuff in order to get the satellite image to match the map thing that I have. After that, then I speed run through just tracing out everything because I didn't like the roads and the paths the way that they were. And then that's what I got here. It's just like sidewalks, roads. These are the contour lines, the black things, red things are the buildings. And then what do? I select the buildings themselves and I just do a mesh outline. That's a really handy dandy feature in Rhino is mesh outline. It only works on mesh. But you select 3D objects in whatever view you are. It's like a make 2D, but it's just the outline. It's real handy dandy, and got that. And then I was just trimming little lines here and there. Then I made a frame of a 1/16 inch scale piece of paper of 11 by 17, and then also a 36 by 36 piece of paper at 1/16 of an inch equals a foot, to figure out, you know, if I was making a big plan drawing of this, what am I even drawing, what fits in the drawing versus what doesn't. So many people seem to have like really big, like they're 1/64 or something. You can't really design the inside of it at 1/64. Even 1/16 can be considered small. Then I make a layout, I make that sheet of paper, I show you how to scale the piece of paper, how to turn on line weights. I make a group of layers, make a layer called don't need this right now, and then all these other layers that you don't need, you just make them children of don't need this right now, and then you can hide them all at once. And I'm applying colors and line weight types to things, line types, print widths. I make a section, arrow section thing, I do that so that you see where the section is in your plan. I did that even before I did the plan. And because I did it sideways rather than if I would have just had it straight up side to side, then I turned everything on and I rotated the whole thing so that the section was facing this way so that I could just draw a section from the top view in 2D and just be able to line stuff up. Because if you haven't caught on by now, you need to draw a section by itself and design it that way and put priority or like give it control more than your 3D model. The 3D model in Rhino doesn't have control over your design. You can draw your design in section. So then what do? I just start, I take the ground line, I do a section, like the command in Rhino section. So in top view, section, and then I selected the surface, and then I got the contour cut of, you know, in 3D space across that plane. And then I had to rotate it and bring it down into like what was the section plane drawing. Then flattened it down, and then I made a new layout that was just the section, and I made the ground line, I made it a new layer, I made it really thick, and then what did I do? Made some construction lines where I like start to bring stuff down. This is how we used to do it when we did it by hand in order to make stuff, you know, line up. And then I made layers for like building profile in the background. It's a little thicker than like a detail layer. I should have like windows and doors and stuff to give it scale, but I didn't have that. That's Goodyear. And then I had trees. There's no one way to draw trees in plan or section. It's just like people. Like every architect has their own way. Every, you know, project has its own way as long as it's consistent in the project. And then I make a layer for the trunk. I make layers for the leaves, and then I bring that out. And then what do? Oh, I hatch. So I select everything. I show you the difference between dragging from the right and dragging from the left in the selection box, and then hatch boundary areas, and then I'm scaling the hatch until it's in the drawing. I zoom, just land on it where it is, and let's say 0.25. There we go. That's what it looked like in the drawing. And then with the trees. Then I went back down to the section. And then what did I do? What did I do then? I made the trees in these like elevation, like in the view, and I just did outlines like I would people or whatever. And then I looked up entourage, PNG, and then I tried to bring in people where they were transparent in the background. But then I was like, wait a second, why don't I just trace this anyway? How long did I spend on this? Then I traced a little person, scaled them down to the right size, and then boom, that's how big a person is compared to this drawing. And then I realized after all that I should probably be doing a section design in 1/8 scale, not 1/16. So it's pretty little. That's a 11 by 17, right? That's little on a page. Harder to design closely around. But what do I do before I end the video? I show you, like, you know, the sections that I put together on the Pinterest and stuff for to look at as a reference, and then I just start making like a slab. I put another person there. I make it thick. I add stuff in the background. Whoops! I add stuff in the background like a wall, and I add little columns and stuff. Those are like profiles. And then what do? I hatch the wall so that the wall has like a surface when you see it like that. And then I do a little thing that's super important, but that you might not realize yet, of making it so that there's a continuous dark line marking the difference between solid and air. And air, I mean inhabitable space. I can use these things as examples, actually. These, like this. I should pause. So these are good examples. Like here, yeah, these are a bunch of elements. That's a wall. There's a slab. There's a wall. There's a wall slab. But it's just one continuous outline because that's solid, and in there is void, right? The dotted lines show things that are in the behind something else. As if everything was black and white like this, of getting cut. But that way, saves ink if you draw it out, right? What else could I show you? I could show you the sections here, this. You see the ground. We see this. I love that one. And here's an example where it's hatched. So it could be hatched like this. The ground is hatched, and this is hatched. Even if this is like an attic space, maybe it's not inhabitable. Maybe the architect doesn't want to show it in this drawing. This is a good example. I should put that on the section thing. There we go. The ground becomes the wall, and you're just outlining the difference between air and inhabitable space, like this. See? That makes a good section, is understanding that. Okay, ready for the video? Here you go. Stop. Okay, section drawings are way easier than you think they are. My screen right now is giant to me because I made it even lower resolution so that maybe you can see these buttons better. I'm gonna just download a map in front of like Goodyear Hall. I'm thinking a less terrainy map for the sake of simplicity, so I can turn on all this stuff. I think 4 is the limit there. Still downloading a 3D model. The road geometry, though, I'm going to do outlines for this, and maybe the paths, or the major roads will do 10 meters and highways 12. There might be highways near you, there might be not. Okay, create file. Okie dokie. So there we go. It thinks that is a short building and another short building, though it's not, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to download it, and there it is. Okay, my things are giant. Right click this, extract all. Okay, and where is that? That was a test. I can delete that. Okay, here's the thing. Eggertsville in Rhino. Remember, I'm not going to open it. I'm just starting a new one right here. Like for this example, whether you are starting or not, I'm doing a new, and I'm making sure that feet is the standard units there, the basic units. Then I will file, import, and go to my downloads, go to this, go to that, go to that, and here I got that. Okay. The main thing that people haven't been doing enough at this point is layers. Layers forever. All these layers. It started with those layers, but there's nothing on there. Okay, buildings. I can make these different colors just to help me. The contours, is it? Oh, it's got a couple there. Okay. Right, because this is a hill. Topography, I'm just turning that off for now. Maybe we should go into top view. Okay. Where are the buildings? What if... Maybe it's a little... view. There we go, okay. Here's my buildings, and should also get a image of the place, though. What is going on with all these paths? Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can just get off Google Maps or Google Earth. I'll assume that nobody wants to download the Blender thing right now. In California, here's Buffalo. There we are. Right? Nope. There we are. Whoa. Okay. Top view. Let's just take a good old screenshot like that. It's bigger than we need. I don't know if I can copy paste right into Rhino. Oh yeah, I can. Cool. Okay, so then this has to go on its own layer, right? Pic of satellite top view. Okay, and sure, give it a color. Now, if I'm trying to scale this to this, everything else here is the right scale. This image isn't the right scale because I'm totally just eyeballing it, right? I just screenshotted it and I'm downloading it and I gotta scale it. So scale is the thing up there. And I'm just gonna be tactical about what's the base point. So right now, like this is close. So then I can go over where that's, okay, so this point seems like it could be, okay, so I'm like lining it up just little by little. So I'll try and get that triangle here lined up. Click this. I wonder if it needs to be rotated. Did I have this at perfect? No, it was almost set to north. Let me rotate this a tiny bit. Rotate and click there. I just want it to just be just like that, I guess. Okay. So if it's like there, scale it again. You see how the process is? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try and go by like there to here because I can see it's off there, but this might be the rotate again. Rotate. And see that like that. I could also scale a little bit. I can start from another angle. I line it up here, scale this to over here. See, I can get that close. And at a certain point, it's close enough. I can do it a little bit better. Okay, that's good enough now. Now, I don't think I want to keep the satellite. I want a very clean white drawing. I don't want this like blurry satellite image in my big, scale drawing. So I can. Oh, so I made this layer, but I didn't put it on there. So I gotta select it, right click on the layer, say change object layer, then it's on there. And what else needs to be done? I gotta add some trees. I gotta do the sidewalk. I don't think I even want to use the paths that are here. So like the parks, the outline. Right, I can just make a new layer, say roads. Click on that, maybe make it like a dark gray, and cue montage of me just laying out some polylines. Mm-hmm. on this. If I turn off that, then I got these. Maybe I want to have green as this. I did this sloppily, but it's because you're in your first year and it doesn't matter that this is highly inaccurate site. Like, the site's captured. These objects, which they are objects, I can do a thing called, let me check. Okay, I checked. Yes, it is called mesh outline. And I select these and click enter, and it made a whole outline of all this. If you had a lot of complicated mesh, it'll take a long time, but this was just basic blocks. So I'm going to make a new thing. I'll just say buildings 2D. Anytime you're making new lines of a new thing, make a new layer for it and put them on that layer. So right click, change object layer. That way I can hide the buildings layer and buildings 2D, which I can also make as red, are there. Okay. Say that this is my site here. If I want to do a hatch, I guess I can show you. I mean, there's also trim. So like in cases like this over here, there's a green line. I should just like, so I have to, in Rhino, I'm forgetting, in Rhino trim, you have to select the thing that you're not trimming first, that you're using to trim the other thing. So I'm not trimming this line, but I am trimming the green line. So this line selected, so then I can then click select object. Okay, cool. So I can do that. I'll do it on another one. What's around here? This one. So I select that one, then trim that. Okay. And this one, trim that. Cool. And also those, right? And this. See, this is where it's valuable to have the trimming object selected first. I basically just want to close off all these loops because I want to do like some hatch something. So I'm in the roads and I'm just gonna cut it off there. If it turns out that I need more roads on the page, then I'll deal with it then based off the scale of seems like that line should be there. I can trim this. Okay. And let's see. Go back to the sidewalks. Okay. I'm just going to close that off. Turn off the contours. Okay, and let's make a rectangle, new layer for frame 1/16 inch 11 by 17 plan. Okay. Remember how to do this. An 11 by 17, 11, enter, 17, enter, is only this big. Let's move it over to this layer, make that the active layer. Okay, so this is an 11 by 17 in feet. So this is, if we were to do 1 inch equals a foot, then this is what it could represent, is something this size. We're doing 16 of an inch equals a foot. So I can just scale this up by 16. Okay, there we go. So this is how much area I can cover. I'll rotate it with an 11 by 17 at 1/16 inch scale. Does this put it in perspective of, you know, people are trying to cover whole cities in their like plan or their section drawing, but that's not, for an 11 by 17, that's not what a 1/16 inch will cover. There are bigger printing papers though, so there's a 18 by 24. We don't use that much. We just, everything's like 24 by 36. At some point you should make a drawing that's really good, that's 36 by 36. So let's say it's that. So I'll make a 36 by 36, and this square is 36 by 36 feet, but a 1/16 of an inch equals a foot. That means it's 16 times bigger. Okay, so this is the area that I could fit. That's cool. Okay, I guess maybe I need this. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll make a new layer and say frame 11 by 17, and then I'll name this one frame 36 by 36. Don't be afraid to rename your layers and then group them. So I can make just for frames 1/16 equals 1. Okay, and then I can make these children of that layer, so I can have both these on at the same time. That way I could easily turn one off. I gotta move this to, okay, I have to move the other one to there. Select, right click, change object layer. Okay. Maybe I made that one orange or something. Turn that off. I don't need that. Okay. Okay, let's get it on a page. Let's make a layout. So hitting the plus sign down here, new layout, and this is not an 11 by 17. I'm going to do the 36 by 36, but they didn't have that, so I'm going to do custom and say 36 by 36. What? And then set the initial detail count to just like one thing, and I'll say top 1/16. Okay, and that looks good. To change the scale of the drawing itself, double click it to get in, where now I can like zoom out and stuff. So I'm changing the scale, right? How do I get it exact? While I can do this, I go over here underneath the layers, probably this color wheel, select that. This is the properties of the viewport. Scale 1 inches equals 16 feet. Boom. And then right click. I don't need, it's not important to me to make this 100% the yellow matching up. But once I get into position, in order to not accidentally like, oops, zoom out, or like, oops, I moved it again, is once I get it back, okay, good enough, just click the locked button here, and now I'm not going to accidentally zoom in and out. And if I double click again, now I can start to see it like what it would look like on the page. I do want to click this up here. Pay attention, click this, click print preview, because I want to see line weights. So, and like the line styles and stuff. Let's go to the layers tab. Let's open this up. And what do we got? Buildings. That should be thick, especially these. If we're doing a plan or something, these would be getting cut. I can assume all these are getting cut. So the print width on this, if anything, I want to make it like 4 millimeters or something big. Okay. Oh wait, I was doing it on the 3D buildings. That's why I should name the layers buildings 3D. I'm also going to make a group called don't need right now. Don't need right now. And then put stuff like buildings 3D into that, or the whatever was on the defaults. Does default not move? What's going on? There we go. Parks. Outline. Yeah, all that stuff, I don't need that right now. I need the roads though. Buildings 2D, that's what I want. Change the print width to 4 millimeters. Now I can see it on the page. Even though when I'm drawing in here like cat or whatever, I want it to be a certain color. On the print, I just want it to be black. So I'm gonna select all this. I can actually pretty much select every layer here. Can I do that? Holding shift every layer here, and then can I do this? Make them all black? Yeah, I can. Boom. So now they're all black here. And like, for example, this is the contour line. I don't want to mix that up with other ones. The contour right here. Oh yeah, topography. Don't need that right now. Okay, cool. Cleaning it up. Even the satellite view. Don't need that right now. Cleaning it up. Cleaning it up. The roads, that can be maybe like a 0.5. See, you can kind of see it. I'll make it 1 just to make it stand out enough, like there. And sidewalks, maybe that's a 0.5. The contours, I'm going to make that a dash dot like this. So now that separates itself even more. I wouldn't see it under the building, right? Because the building is there. So I'm going to go back to top, select this, and trim that. Boom. Okay. I would see it on the ground itself. Really, contours are... you don't have to worry about these being more complicated than this right now. Later on, you'll learn the details about how roads are actually like, a little bit taller in the middle and like how that would look on a contour line and all that stuff. But that's the beauty of being a freshman, that you don't have to worry about that right now. So the frame of that, why if I turn that off, does that turn everything off? There's still some things that I don't understand. I don't understand every program perfectly. And that's something that's healthy for you to know is okay. Okay, so this is the place for the plan. And next I want to make a section. Yeah? So I should pick where the section is going to be. So new layer, and I'm calling it section A cuts line and plan. I might change the layer later. I might make this red, make the buildings something pink, or maybe I can make them black. I can tell what's what. Okay, section cut line. Let's say I want to make a section that looks this way or this way. I need to make a decision. I'll choose this way. Okay, like that. And because in your plan, you need to see it. I'm just gonna do it real basic right now. There's absolutely a more sophisticated way to do this, but I'm pretending that I'm a freshman right now, and I'm making the standard what we expect. Okay, so because I didn't change the color here, this is still like this, and I can change this to maybe center. Okay, so that's the section. I can see where that is. Now, what do I want to do? I want to make a section over here. I didn't quite think of this until now, but say you're in this position. Instead of if I had this section rotated like that. If I had it rotated like this, I wouldn't be in a problem right now. I'd be able to skip this step that I'm about to do. I want to draw a section and have it like match up, and I don't feel like drawing it on its side, so I'm going to rotate everything that I got 90 degrees. I'm going to turn back on everything that I didn't need back then right now. Literally everything's on and nothing is locked, so I can select everything, Control A. I'm actually going to move it out of the way of this thing, and move it up here, and then rotate it 90 degrees like that. Move it up here. That way, if I turn off that stuff, I have this, and I can make a section down here that I can reference vertically with some construction lines. Okay, and who knows, maybe my section can fit on an 11 by 17 if I rotate that like there. Okay, that's pretty good. I could go like way low. I guess that's inappropriate. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is going to be where my section is. This isn't a crazy topography, right? This is pretty much all flat. I can make this one the perspective. Set view, perspective. There's a little bit of a hill. Okay, fine, I'll play along. Where are the buildings 3D? Did I delete those? Did I delete those buildings? 3D buildings? Well, I mean, I could still take these curves and extrude it. Extrude, curve, solid. Because I know this is like tall, right? Oh, it's just like some glitch on my one thing. If I go back to set view, there's a way that I can fix this, and I'm not going to deal with it right now. So that's the Goodyear and Clemens and stuff, and I know this is like generally short. I should know how tall roughly, but whatever. So this is on a little bit of a hill like that. Okay, so I can capture what it is basically doing in section. And I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to go into top view, set view, top. I'm selecting the terrain that I have in this case. You might be skipping this step. I'm going to make a new layer and call it section 2D. This is going to be the group layer, and then I'm going to make a sub layer to that and say topography cut ground line. Maybe I should just call it ground line. Just going to call it ground line. Ground line. Okay. And that's going to be hella thick, like 5 millimeters. Section. It's just section, and I'm going to turn this off. Can I do that too? Or let me just change the view to wireframe. Yeah, that way I can click this, because this is the section. I can extend it through. That way I'm going through all this, double clicking this so it's put on this layer, right? Enter. And now in the front here, did it do it? Let's see it in perspective. There it is. That on the right layer. Oh, it's still on this layer because I had that selected when I started the command. So I'm just going to move it over here. Now it's the ground line. Okay. I don't need the underneath of it. Yeah, okay. Cool, cool. So then I'm going to turn off all that stuff I don't need and select away, just get this and move it lower. Okay. And I'm going to rotate it in what, this view? Yep. Rotate. And I want it to be on this layer really. So if I just do this, okay, and then move it down here. I mean, if I want to be exact, is there a move one dimension? All right, I paused it so I could figure this out. How to move something down. This isn't an actual intersection between this point and like the actual 3D space ground line. I'm going to move it. Move. Point to move from is this, and I can turn on near in the OSNAP, and then hold Shift to keep it ortho, and then see how that says apparent intersection. Perfect. Okay, that's what I want to do. So that's the ground line. Let's make a new layout, and this one's at 11 by 17. 11 by 17 landscape. This one is section. Okay. Haha. Then double click to get in there. Zoom in. Okay. And get it exactly 16 inch. Okay, and lock it. The display mode isn't going to be wireframe. Oh, I have to unlock it in order to change the display mode here. So that can be rendered still, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So there's the ground line. Okay, cool, ground line's there. Let's say I want to get this building that's in the back of this into this. I could, make this, or get the 3D thing, get the make 2D of it, and then flip that around the same way I did the ground line. But for now, it's simpler than that. I'm making a new layer here and call it buildings behind profile. Enter. Get in there, put it in the section 2D. And I'm also going to make another layer called construction lines. It's like if I was doing this by hand, and I would just want like a gray line, and I just want to take this gray line from this corner and just take it all the way down. That's it. And this one back here, I don't know if we would see it. Oh, we actually would. Okay, and then what about this here? We would see it. And then that's kind of all we would see, because I know this is a tall building. So then my building, behind profile line, I know it's actually just this most outside one, because the profile isn't the same thing, or like the outline isn't the same thing as and then the other two, I'm making two layers, building behind inside profile. So this isn't the outline of like the building to the sky. This is the outline of the building, one part of the building to another part of the building, and it's not going to be as thick. Now, if I wanted to put doors and windows, like I could / should, but not right now. Then let's pull this back out, see what it looks like in section. You can turn off this, and then the building, or like the construction lines, those should be just like dotted. And the building inside thing should be like 1. So if I look closer, it's a bit thicker. Okay, that's some thickness too. Let's make that like that. Okay, so there's sky here. There's a building here. Doesn't like Goodyear like it has like something like that, or is that like behind? I don't know. Back in over here, top view. It's time to draw my thing. Time to finally draw the thing. Okay, I can do that. What do I need? What's the thing that you need before, other than the site and like the basics of the site, the ground, buildings behind? Sure. I don't know if there's any trees. Maybe I should check that before I jump the gun here. It seems that there's some trees. So there's a tree here I can see. So in the top view, I should say new layer, trees. By the way, I have a group for section 2D, but I don't have a group for plan 2D. So grab these. Let's see, just make a new layer, say plan 2D. Move all this stuff to that, okay? And trees, you can also make green, make a lighter green or something. And if I'm doing a plan cut, then there's the tree trunk and the tree leaves are different. So I'm actually gonna say tree trunk and another layer that's tree leaves. Okay, make this like that. Okay, so this should go on the tree trunk. Select this, put it on this, change object layer. Okay, and then the simplest way, turn on center snap, is there we go, is something like that, and that this is on tree leaves, so put it on that layer. Tree leaves can be like dashed of, so now in the plan I see this, but I want to change the color to red. Look at all these new layers I have that aren't black. I meant black, not red. Sorry. And the tree trunks gotta be thick. Let's make them thick like that. Maybe that's too thick. 3. And then the tree leaves, where'd those go? Oh, accidentally. Okay. Tree leaves are black, and they are like 1 thick. There we go. Okay, so that's a thing, and I can make this like a wiggly thing. There's so many different ways that you can draw trees. What matters is keeping it consistent throughout one single drawing, especially, let alone a project. I can turn on my satellite view to see if I should copy and paste some of these, move them around like there. If there's a little one here, if there's a couple there and there. Okay, I know this one's littler, so I could scale it. Scale by the center. I think that's a tree. Scale. It really doesn't matter that much. The fact that they're here at all is nice. Whatever, okay. Let's see this again. Oh, turn that off. Okay, we got some stuff. We got some stuff. I could hatch the grass, I guess. Let's go back to this. Let's turn off the tree trunks and tree leaves. Let's make a grass hatch layer. I'm going to turn off all the stuff that isn't actually in the scene, like the section cut line. For example, I'm going to turn off the contours. That way I'm just working with the buildings themselves. I got to make sure I got no open areas. Everything's closed, I think. Okay, what's this? Sorry, fine, whatever. Okay, grass hatch. Gonna make it green. I'm going to say hatch and set it to boundary, and I click and drag from the right going left. That's important. Listen, clicking and dragging from the right going left. See how it's a dotted line? If I go left to right, it's a solid line. They're different. One selects anything that's touching. The other one selects anything only that's exactly in the box, right? Like that versus that. Okay. Hatch and its boundary, so I can start clicking areas like this or that, or that, or that, or that, or that, that, and that. I think that's a road. That's a this. That's a that. That. This is all grass too. Grass, 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 and grass. Okay, that's not grass. That's sidewalk or something. Okay, cool. If I want it to be a grid, if I want it to be plus signs, I mean the base, like what is this, less than 10 of these, I'm gonna just scale it up, I think, to be like that. Let's see. Okay, so let's see what that looks like at that view. Okay, so that's extra big here, but I want to make this like that and just real thin. It's like that or something. Go back to this. Can I select all hatch? Combine regions, whatever. Let's see. How do I? So I'm going to right click on grass hatch and select every object on that layer. Another reason why you should use layers for everything, that I can now select all the grass with just that. And let's see, edit hatch, can I do that? I should have looked that up first. Select hash. I should look that up. A little insert marker. That's selected. Go to properties to change the scale of the hatch. Duh. And here I can go down back to 1. Okay, and then in the top view, it shows like that. I could even do further down from 1. So let's go back to selecting all this. Select that, and let's say 0.25. Okay, then in the top view, that's what I got. So that's my grass. Okay, I'm turning back the tree trunks on. It's looking a little like something. I want to bring these tree trunks down to this section. So in construction line, and this is how we used to do it when it was by hand. You know, bring this all the way down. That's where a tree trunk is. I gotta change this layer. And I gotta change it from dots. I just can't tell. Can't tell. There we go. Okay. And does that get in the view? No, that doesn't get in the view. This would. That was a smaller one, right? Smaller tree. Trees in the distance. I mean, this doesn't matter so much, but now in the section, I can make a sublayer and call it trees. And like I said, the way that you draw trees, as long as it's consistent inside its own project and drawings, it's fine. I'm going to draw this real simply, just kind of like this. And I want to just reference, that was a shorter tree, and if it's like 30 feet tall, okay, the other one would be a little bit taller. Oops. I don't even remember if this is what the trees look like, but it doesn't matter that much. And there's probably more trees in your thing. Okay, so those are the trees. So then in the section, I can see those, but I can turn off this construction line thing. And so like this is the edge of the building. You'd see the windows and stuff. Windows in a back building gives a lot of sense of scale, but you know what gives more of a sense of scale? People. It's people. This is what I've been waiting to do, is add people to this for so long. I'm waiting to add people. Okay, so layer, people. And then go to just like entourage, PNG, architecture. You should use pictures of yourself, I think. But if you got any of these, so let's find the original image. Is it this? If I right click this, will they make me buy this or something? Can I save the image as a PNG? Yeah, I can. Okay. Then I can just drag it in. Okay, so it's not like that. Is it? There's some that are. You want a PNG that's actually transparent. Is there not a... Oh, that's the wrong download button. So many download buttons. Hate it. Tools. Type. Let's get like a silhouette or something. See, that's a tree. Okay, so the images that I was downloading are not what's it called, transparent in the back, but made me almost forget that I can just trace over it and make really simple. Just let me turn off all these snaps. Really simple little people. And just like trees, everyone's project will show people a little differently. Disable. And I just gotta close this loop here. Okay. And that way I can hatch this. Hatch. And make that solid. Okay. Delete that line. Okay. Scale this. Okay, there, and say there 5'8". Okay. Boom. That is how big the person is. I put them on the ground. Ah, finally, there's people. Oh my god. Now I can actually make a section drawing. Let's just look at it. Oh, yeah. Makes me want to make this in 1/8. But then I would lose some of these trees. But your plan and your section need to be the same scale. Your site plan is bigger, but your plan and your section, same scale. So I now can make a drawing that looks like the ones that I'm recommending, which I put on a Pinterest for you. Here's the sections. The sections you make should be this beautifully simple. Beautifully simple. Like this. Or this. Beautifully simple. That's it. So I wasn't going to do this, but I'm just looking at those beautifully simple sections. I'm excited. So I made a new layer called cut, and I'll make a slab. You don't cut through the columns. I'm not even going to measure much of anything because I'm going to base it off people, and I might just add more people and make sure that they are on the people thing and that that's on the cut thing. We can make the print width here thick there. Okay, so in the section view, look at that. Wait, what's happening with the ground? Why isn't the ground super thick? That's this one. There we go. Oh, okay. Just had to double click to get in that. Okay. There we go. That looks like something. But, I mean, what's holding this up? That slab. Let's draw a profile edge. And it'll be one thing thick. And we'll say that this is just like a wall coming down in the background. So simple. Okay. And then there's a like a railing or something. And let's trim it. Oops. There we go. And now in the section, it looks like that. Okay. I can hatch the cut. I can also be fancy and not hatch the cut. Depends how fancy you want to get. Say I have some columns that are in front of this or something. Then they're like there. And there's some other columns here. And say these columns keep going out. That's interesting. Okay. Now that's what we got in this section. Now let's say that there's some detail like a hatch or like a material texture. Then I can hatch it. Select all that. And select the people. Okay. Hatch. And what do I want? I can just do like this grid. So that is not quite. Let me do this again. Hatch. Oh, it's because I had everything selected first. Hatch. Boundary. Yes. That's how I want to go by it. And then go to, and then I can select. Oh, I have to select the ground too. That way I can cover that. Okay, yeah. Because I'm not hatching the columns, I'm just hatching this back wall, not hatching this cut here. Clicking enter, and let's say okay to that, and let's see it in the section. It's pretty big scale. Let me select these few things again, scale it down to 0.25. Let's see it there. Okay. Now we got something. Oops. Back. Okay, lock that. Got a section, but I want those people back. Okay. And it'd probably be, I can turn off that hatch. Let's do the cut. If there's railings, I would see them here. So I can draw the cut on top of profile because it's thicker. And there we go. But I don't need a thick line in between these two cut things here. I should trim it. So let's trim it. There and there. Okay. And then select this and that. Trim that. And that. And that. Trim that. Okay, so now if I turn off the profile edge, this is the cut. I could do this for a while. Let's say that there is a wall in the middle. That would be like there. Then I can trim this piece there. Enter. Let's trim this there. Okay. And vice versa. Let's trim that. So that's going right to the ground. The ground line either is a cut line or it's not. If I want to be fancy here, I can say that it's the same thickness. So let's just make both of them 3 for this. And then I can trim that. Okay, so, and if I make this less, you might be able to see it better. Okay. So what's being cut, like now this is a room, that's a room, and this is a room. This isn't a cut wall. That's not a wall, so this is the edge, the threshold between underground, just solid, and air. It might not make sense of why I took the line out of here and like why this as an outline is really important, but in time, give it time. I think I'm going to make a new video where I make like a template and then I just go through that. Okay, so let's call it on this one. Hopefully you learned some stuff. If you watched it, I'm Sean, and it's been fun. And before I go, I should show you how to print this. It's just this button right here. Print, and then you print to a PDF. My roommate's back there. Say hi to my students.
Oh, you're talking about
yeah, I mean, just making like a PDF.
we're talking about movies right now?
Well, no, not. I just started recording. Just add how to print. Okay, bye.